At the heart of every thriving relationship, whether with a friend, family member, or romantic partner, lies mutual trust and respect. These two elements are the foundation upon which all meaningful connections are built. Without them, a relationship becomes fragile and prone to cracks. Let's explore why trust and respect are so vital and what happens when they are missing. Trust is not something that can be taken for granted. It must be earned and nurtured over time. It's the invisible thread that holds people together, allowing them to feel safe, supported, and understood. Trust enables us to be vulnerable with others, to share our deepest fears and hopes, and to rely on them when we need help. Without trust, a relationship is merely surface level. There is no depth, no true intimacy, and no sense of security. When trust is compromised, whether through betrayal, dishonesty, or unreliability, the relationship begins to unravel. It can be as simple as a broken promise or as profound as a lie that shatters your sense of safety. The more often trust is violated, the harder it becomes to rebuild. Trust is like glass. Once broken, it may be repaired, but the cracks are still visible. Rebuilding trust requires time, consistent effort, and a willingness from both parties to heal. Respect, the value of being seen and heard. Respect is the acknowledgement of each other's inherent worth. It's an understanding that each person in a relationship has their own thoughts, feelings, and boundaries that should be honored. Respect is shown through actions, how we listen, how we communicate, and how we treat each other on a daily basis. It is never about dominance or control. It's about mutual consideration and understanding. If you've ever said to a partner of a different body types of what they should do, maybe with their body, physically or emotionally, when respect is present in a relationship, it fosters a sense of equality. Both people feel valued and recognized for who they are, not just for what they can do or give. It means recognizing the other person's individuality, their beliefs, their emotions, and their needs, even if they differ from your own. Respect is about allowing space for growth and allowing someone to be themselves without fear of judgment or condemnation. However, when respect is absent, the relationship can become one-sided. It might manifest as manipulation, where one person tries to control the other, or as neglect, where one person's feelings and needs are consistently overlooked. Over time, the lack of respect leads to resentment, emotional pain, and distance. Without respect, even the strongest connections can falter. The symbiotic relationship between trust and respect. Trust and respect are not just complementary, they are interdependent. Trust cannot exist without respect, and respect cannot thrive in the absence of trust. They fuel each other, creating a positive cycle. When you trust someone, you respect their boundaries and values. When you respect someone, you build trust by demonstrating your reliability, understanding, and care. In a healthy relationship, both parties actively cultivate trust and respect. They listen with empathy, communicate honestly, and support each other's well-being. They don't undermine each other or take advantage of vulnerabilities. They create a space where both individuals feel safe enough to grow, evolve, and show up as their authentic selves. This mutual trust and respect allow relationships to endure through challenges and changes, strengthening the bond over time. The consequences of missing trust and respect. When trust and respect are lacking, relationships often become toxic. A lack of trust leads to suspicion, jealousy, and conflict, while a lack of respect breeds resentment and bitterness. If one person feels disrespected, it can manifest as emotional abuse, manipulation, or gaslighting, all of which deeply harm the person on the receiving end. A toxic dynamic can warp the perception of what love and care should feel like, leaving one or both people feeling isolated and disconnected. For some, the absence of trust and respect may manifest as emotional exhaustion. Constantly navigating uncertainty, doubt, and the need to protect yourself from being hurt can take a severe toll on mental and physical health. The emotional labor involved in a relationship where trust and respect are absent becomes overwhelming, and often people don't realize the damage it causes until they're deeply affected by it. Why trust and respect should be non-negotiable. We all deserve relationships where we feel valued, understood, and secure. Relationships without trust and respect create an environment where these basic human needs cannot be met. If trust is violated repeatedly or respect is consistently withheld, it's crucial to recognize that this is not a healthy relationship. While conflict and challenges are a natural part of any connection, a lack of trust and respect should never be ignored. In relationships where trust and respect are strong, conflicts are handled with compassion and care. Disagreements don't lead to emotional harm or manipulation. Instead, they serve as opportunities for growth and understanding. People in these relationships are willing to engage in difficult conversations, listen with empathy, and collaborate towards resolution. Even in the face of differences, the relationship remains strong because it's built on mutual trust and respect. Ultimately, if a relationship consistently lacks these essential elements, it's a sign that it may no longer be a safe or healthy space for you. Walking away from relationships that do not honor your need for trust and respect is not only an act of self-preservation, but also a step toward creating space for more fulfilling, nurturing connections. At the core of every healthy and fulfilling relationship is a fundamental human need to feel supported and valued. These are not just nice to haves. They are essential for your emotional well-being, your growth, and your sense of self-worth. Every person, whether consciously or unconsciously, craves the reassurance that they matter and that their presence in a relationship is cherished. The need for support and validation isn't selfish. It's part of what makes us human. We thrive when we are surrounded by people who celebrate our victories, lift us during our challenges, and help us navigate life with empathy and care. Without this, we risk feeling isolated, misunderstood, and alone, even when surrounded by others. The power of being supported. Support in relationships comes in many forms, but its essence remains the same, knowing that someone has your back. In a truly supportive relationship, the people around you are there not just during the good times, but also during the tough moments. They listen when you need to talk. They offer help when you're struggling, and they believe in you even when you struggle to believe in yourself. Support isn't always about grand gestures. Sometimes it's in the small acts of kindness that mean the most. It could be someone taking the time to check in on you when they know you're going through something tough, or offering a helping hand when you need it. It could be a friend who listens without judgment, offering a safe space for you to express your thoughts and emotions. Support also involves encouragement. When you're pursuing your dreams, whether they are big or small, a supportive person will cheer you on, even if they don't fully understand your goals. They'll be there to remind you of your strengths and talents when self-doubt creeps in, and they'll motivate you to keep going when the road gets tough. The importance of feeling valued. To feel valued in a relationship is to know that you are seen for who you truly are, not just for what you can offer or do for someone else. Feeling valued means that your thoughts, feelings, and experiences matter, It's an acknowledgement that you are worthy of care and consideration regardless of your circumstances or flaws. When you feel valued, you feel free to show up as your authentic self without fear of judgment or rejection. You don't have to put on a mask or pretend to be someone you're not in order to gain affection or approval. Instead, you are accepted, flaws and all. This feeling of being valued nurtures self-esteem and strengthens your belief in your worth as a person. In a healthy relationship, being valued means that your boundaries are respected, your voice is heard, and your feelings are validated. When you share your thoughts or experiences, someone who values you will take the time to truly listen and understand. They won't diminish your feelings or dismiss your perspective. Instead, they'll honor your truth even if they don't always agree with it. The emotional toll of not feeling supported or valued. When you don't feel supported or valued in a relationship, the emotional toll can be immense. It leads to feelings of inadequacy, loneliness, and worthlessness. Over time, you may begin to internalize the idea that you are not deserving of love, care, or attention. This sense of unworthiness can bleed into other areas of your life, affecting your confidence, your ability to trust others, and your overall sense of happiness. The cautiousness mindset from the same words can prevent you from achieving all of the relationships in life that you want and deserve. In these relationships, you may find yourself constantly giving, emotionally, mentally, or physically without receiving anything in return. You might go out of your way to support someone only to feel ignored or taken for granted. When your contributions are not acknowledged or reciprocated, it leads to emotional exhaustion. You start to question whether your efforts are even worth it. Feeling unsupported can also lead to a cycle of self-doubt. You might start questioning whether you're asking for too much or if you're too needy. You may begin to apologize for your own needs or suppress your desires in order to avoid conflict or rejection. Over time, this pattern can diminish your sense of self-worth and erode the foundation of the relationship. The value of reciprocal care. For a relationship to truly be supportive and fulfilling, it must be reciprocal. This means that both parties give and receive care, love, and support. It's not about one person always taking the lead or the other always providing for the needs of the other. It's about balance and mutual investment in each other's well-being. In reciprocal relationships, there's a sense of give and take that allows both individuals to feel supported and valued. You're not just being used or expected to perform certain roles. Instead, you're both active participants in nurturing the relationship. You can lean on each other during difficult times, but also celebrate each other's successes. You don't have to carry the burden of life alone because you know that the person by your side is there to share the load. It's why you deserve to feel supported and valued. You deserve to feel supported and valued because you are worthy of love, care, and respect. Every person deserves to be in relationships where their contributions are acknowledged and their presence is cherished. You have a right to feel like you matter, not just because of what you do or how you perform, but simply because you exist. Your feelings, your dreams, and your unique perspective are all worthy of being heard and celebrated. The right people will see you for who you truly are, the sum of all your experiences, struggles, and joys, and they will support you through it all. They will encourage you to grow, empower you to be your best self, and stand by you when the world gets tough. You should never feel like you are just an afterthought or an obligation in someone's life. Your relationship should elevate you, not drain you. In moments when you feel unsupported or undervalued, it's important to remember that you are not responsible for fixing the imbalance. Relationships should bring out the best in you, not leave you questioning your worth. If you find yourself in a situation where your needs for support and validation are continuously ignored or rejected, it's okay to step back and reassess the relationship. Ultimately, you deserve to be surrounded by people who make you feel good about yourself, who lift you up rather than tear you down. Your value isn't determined by the opinions of others, but by your own understanding of your worth. And when you realize that you deserve support and appreciation, you'll be empowered to seek out relationships that nourish and strengthen you, not ones that drain you. Accountability is the cornerstone of any relationship that aims to thrive and grow over time. It is the practice of taking responsibility for one's actions, decisions, and behavior, acknowledging the impact they have on others, and committing to making things right when mistakes are made. In a world where misunderstandings and mistakes are inevitable, accountability ensures that relationships remain healthy, respectful, and sustainable. It builds trust, fosters mutual respect, and encourages personal growth. Without accountability, relationships become stagnant, unbalanced, and prone to dysfunction. The role of accountability in healthy relationships. At its core, accountability means owning up to your actions and their consequences. It means that when you've done something wrong, you don't deflect, make excuses, or shift the blame. Instead, you take a moment to reflect on how your actions may have hurt someone or affected the relationship. This can be difficult and uncomfortable, but it is the first step in repairing and strengthening a bond. In healthy relationships, accountability allows both individuals to hold each other to high standards of behavior. It creates an environment where both parties feel safe enough to be vulnerable and honest, knowing that their actions and words will be treated with care and consideration. When both individuals take responsibility for their actions, it ensures that the relationship remains balanced and respectful. This shared commitment to accountability fosters mutual trust, reduces resentment, and creates a foundation for deeper emotional intimacy. Accountability fosters trust. And trust is the bedrock of all meaningful relationships. Without it, connections remain superficial or fragile, constantly at risk of breaking down. Accountability plays a pivotal role in building and maintaining trust. When someone takes responsibility for their behavior, it shows integrity. It shows that they value the relationship enough to own their mistakes and learn from them. Post-court, this consistency in owning up to one's actions signals reliability, creating a safe environment where both individuals can express themselves without fear of judgment or retribution. On the other hand, when accountability is absent, trust begins to erode. If someone consistently fails to take responsibility for their actions, whether through excuses, blame shifting, or denial, the other person starts to feel unsafe, unheard, and disrespected. Over time, this lack of accountability leads to an emotional disconnect where both individuals feel distrustful and emotionally distant. Trust cannot thrive in an environment where accountability is not practiced, and the relationship can begin to feel fragile, built on shaky ground. The importance of accountability in conflict resolution. Conflicts are a natural part of any relationship. When two people come together, it's inevitable that disagreements will arise. However, the way these conflicts are handled can make or break the relationship. Accountability is crucial in conflict resolution because it ensures that both parties are able to address the issue at hand honestly and directly, rather than becoming defensive, dismissive, or passive-aggressive. In the midst of a conflict, accountability allows individuals to reflect on their actions and acknowledge how they may have contributed to the problem. Rather than focusing on blaming the other person, both individuals can take ownership of their behavior and work together to find a solution. This mindset of shared responsibility helps de-escalate tension and promotes open, honest communication. When both parties are accountable, they can approach the situation with a sense of mutual respect and a desire to repair the relationship rather than just winning the argument. Accountability also means taking responsibility for how you react to a conflict. It's easy to point the finger at the other person for the way things unfolded, but true accountability requires introspection. Did you contribute to the argument by being defensive? Did you shut down emotionally instead of engaging in constructive dialogue? Did you say things you didn't mean in the heat of the moment? Recognizing your own role in the conflict helps you grow and ensures that the same issues won't continue to arise. The consequences of a lack of accountability. When accountability is not practiced, relationships can become toxic. A lack of accountability often manifests in several harmful behaviors, including blame shifting, denial, defensiveness, or manipulation. These behaviors can lead to a breakdown in communication, with both parties feeling unheard and unappreciated. If one party continually avoids taking responsibility for their actions, the other person may begin to feel disrespected, unheard, and emotionally unsupported. Over time, this creates a toxic environment where one person feels like they are always carrying the emotional weight of the relationship. A failure to hold each other accountable can also breed resentment. If one person repeatedly makes mistakes but never acknowledges their actions or apologizes for the harm caused, the other person may start to feel like their feelings and needs are being ignored. This can lead to the emotional exhaustion of constantly trying to repair a relationship without reciprocal effort or acknowledgement. And so resentment can slowly build up, eroding the foundation of trust and respect that is necessary for the relationship to thrive. In relationships where accountability is missing, it's common to see patterns of emotional manipulation or gaslighting. If someone consistently avoids owning up to their behavior, they may try to twist the situation, making the other person feel guilty or crazy for even bringing it up. This not only damages the relationship, but also undermines the mental and emotional well-being of the person being manipulated. Accountability promotes personal growth. Accountability is not just essential for the health of a relationship. It also plays a critical role in personal growth. When we take responsibility for our actions, we learn to reflect on our behavior, recognize our mistakes, and work toward improvement. This requires self-awareness and a willingness to examine our behavior from an honest and non-defensive perspective. Taking accountability also involves understanding the impact of our actions on others. It's easy to become wrapped up in our own experiences and perspectives, but when we take a step back and realize how our words or behavior have affected those around us, it leads to growth. It helps us become better communicators, more empathetic individuals, and more thoughtful partners. In relationships, this kind of growth is essential as it allows both individuals to evolve and become the best versions of themselves, both individually and as a couple or team. When both people in a relationship commit to accountability, they create an environment where both can thrive and grow. Accountability allows for continuous learning, deepening emotional intimacy, and the development of resilience within the relationship. It shows that both individuals are willing to take responsibility not only for their actions, but also for the future of the relationship itself. Why accountability should be non-negotiable. Accountability is not something that should be optional in a relationship. It is non-negotiable if you want that relationship to thrive. Without it, there is no room for trust, growth, or healthy conflict resolution. Relationships built on accountability are strong, resilient, and capable of weathering even the toughest storms. They allow both individuals to hold each other to the highest standards of care, respect, and integrity, while also offering the space for mistakes, learning, and improvement. If you find yourself in a relationship where accountability is absent, it's crucial to ask whether this is a relationship that can continue to grow. A lack of accountability often signals an unhealthy dynamic, where one person is always carrying the emotional burden, or where the relationship is stuck in patterns of dysfunction that prevent either person from reaching their full potential. Practicing accountability is an act of love, right? For yourself, for the other person, and for the relationship. It's about creating a space where honesty, trust, and growth can flourish, and where both individuals feel valued, respected, and heard. Personal growth involves letting go of what no longer serves you. Personal growth is a continuous journey of self-discovery, transformation, and evolution. As we move through life, we accumulate experiences, relationships, and beliefs that shape who we are. However, just as a plant sheds old leaves to make room for new growth, we too must let go of what no longer serves our higher purpose. This can be one of the most difficult aspects of personal growth. Releasing the things, people, habits, or beliefs that once provided comfort, but now weigh us down, limit our potential, or hinder our ability to thrive. Letting go is often perceived as an act of loss or abandonment, but in reality, it is an act of empowerment. It's the recognition that in order to move forward, we must create space for the new and the better. It's about surrendering what is outdated or no longer in alignment with who we are becoming, so that we can embrace the person we are evolving into. And here's where the ideas that come up. And imagine you're a little girl in the backyard with your brother. You're in full-blown fight, releasing limiting beliefs. One of the most profound ways personal growth occurs is through the release of limiting beliefs, thoughts and convictions we hold about ourselves and the world that confine us. These beliefs are often deeply ingrained and can be shaped by past experiences, societal pressures, or messages from others. They may have once been protective mechanisms, helping us navigate the world, but as we grow, these beliefs often no longer serve us. For example, you might have been taught that success is only achievable through perfection, leading you to believe that making mistakes makes you unworthy or incapable. Or you might believe that you are only valuable if you seek validation from others, which can result in constant self-doubt and an inability to make decisions that align with your authentic desires. Letting go of these limiting beliefs requires introspection and self-awareness. It's a process of challenging the stories you've told yourself for years, recognizing that they are not truths, but perceptions you have created, often based on fear or insecurity. Releasing these beliefs means replacing them with healthier, more empowering thoughts that enable you to move forward with confidence and self-assurance. And most importantly, letting go of the ones that are far less healthy and causing more pain and suffering. Releasing toxic relationships. Just as our beliefs shape our lives, so too do the relationships we foster. Some relationships can be deeply enriching, providing love, support, and connection, but others may be draining, toxic, or based on unhealthy dynamics. The people we surround ourselves with have a significant impact on our mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. If we remain in relationships that no longer contribute positively to our lives, we risk stunting our growth and remaining in a cycle of negativity. Toxic relationships often manifest as constant criticism, manipulation, dishonesty, or emotional abuse. They may involve people who disregard your boundaries, belittle your accomplishments, or make you feel inadequate. Over time, these relationships can cause self-doubt, anxiety, and feelings of worthlessness. Letting go of toxic relationships doesn't mean you have to cut ties with everyone who challenges or disagrees with you. It means releasing the people who are consistently harmful, disrespectful, or emotionally draining. It's about prioritizing your mental health and emotional well-being over maintaining connections out of obligation, guilt, or fear of loneliness. Releasing toxic people creates space for healthier, more positive relationships that nurture your growth, support your dreams, and encourage you to be the best version of yourself.